Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matt with TCG. In today's video, we're talking about one of the most important things to helping you generate revenue for your TCG business. And you may not, it may be a little bit surprising, okay? Because we're talking about your inventory, the processes and strategies that you have behind keeping the cards you're selling safe, secure, and ready to be shipped. All of that is super important. We're gonna look at a couple different things here, but kind of to the side here, you're gonna see a little video of my inventory right now. You can see it's kind of separated into 4 5-row boxes, and I will be adding on 5-row boxes. I've actually got 2 additional boxes that are ready to be filled, but I'm kind of keeping my inventory at a very specific level that we're gonna talk about. And we're also going to talk about how having a structured and well planned out inventory really does pay off, literally with money, but it also pays off by saving you time, energy, effort, headaches, all of the above. But before we dive in, don't forget to like and I almost said comment. You can comment for sure. I love the comments. Like and subscribe is what I'm asking you to do. If we can hit 10 likes on this video, that would be so lit, y'all. And we're getting closer and closer to the goal of 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you, but let's go ahead and dive in because I like to add value to everyone that watches the video. And I think this is super important, especially if you're considering starting your business and you want to sell singles or bulk cards. This is extremely important. If you are more so selling sealed product, also your inventory is super important, but it's a little bit different, at least at a smaller scale, than selling something like bulk or high volume singles. And why is that? Well, that's because if you are doing kind of a low scale kind of sealed inventory system, yes, you need storage to store your inventory, but you are dealing with maybe a couple hundred items that you probably can store and select pretty easily, find them pretty easily. But if you're selling singles and bulk, you typically have thousands or tens of thousands of cards that you're actively sorting through, listing, and selling all at the same time. For me, I started by selling bulk cards, and so it became very evident to me that I needed some sort of process and structure around what I do with my inventory. And that's what kind of kickstarted really something I love, which is this whole idea of building processes and systems around my business. And I think that this is super important because your processes and your systems, hear me loud and clear, they're gonna change like hundreds of times. You are going to iterate, you're going to change, you're going to adapt and evolve just like Pokemon do so that you can become better and more efficient with your time and with your business, okay? It's all about making the business as efficient as possible so that you can maximize your revenue and the money that you're generating. I do Pokemon in my TCG business kind of as a side hustle on the, at nights, on the weekends. And yes, it still takes a lot of time, effort, and energy, but I want to make sure that my 9 to 5, my 8 to 5 or whatever, like that full-time job is my priority. To be honest, it's my priority. And right now, as I'm building up my TCG business, my brand, my presence online, all of this stuff has to come second. So I have to have strong processes to keep things streamlined and efficient, from the way I record videos and shoot content like this to the way I run my business, including my inventory. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, number one, it's all about preparing your inventory and then how you actually run your inventory and store it. And then lastly, how that's going to pay off in the long run for you and your business. So number one is all about getting started. Like, what kind of thought process needs to go into running and organizing your inventory? Well, I really think this all starts whenever you buy your first collection or your first bulk lot. You need to think about the type of initial sorts you need to make to get to a point where your inventory is organized and ready to go. So for me personally, what I do is I sort through my bulk cards, I'll separate them out by generation and set, and then I'll alphabetize the cards by set, right? And so what that does is it allows me to preemptively get cards ready to be sold through TCG Player, which is my kind of platform of choice for bulk cards right now. I recommend that you look into whatever platform works best for you, or you look at multiple platforms and maybe have multiple different inventories running at one time. So those are some of the initial sorts I do. So separating cards out by generation, and then separating them out by set, and alphabetizing the sets I'm going to be listing. That's very important because of the way that, as you pull orders within TCG Player, print off the order sheets, everything is alphabetized by set, by condition, and as long as you have everything in one centralized location ready to go, it's going to save you so much time, y'all. So let's talk a little bit about how you structure your inventory. For me personally, I found that having some sort of shelving system and then these 5-row boxes are so essential, y'all. I also have little dividers, but if you don't have dividers, like plastic dividers, you can also use index cards. Yeah, it looks a little janky, but remember, we're just getting started right now. It's not about it looking nice, it's about it being efficient and effective, okay? And so whether you got fancy plastic dividers, whether you have, different dividers for each letter in a set or anything like that, or you're just running index cards and you have a mental note or kind of a map of where things are, you're perfect. You're doing great. It doesn't have to be perfect and pretty, okay? It just needs to be effective and efficient. So get away from the P and the P and go to the E and the E. That was weird. But you guys know what I mean. Not pretty and perfect, but efficient and effective. You guys get it? You guys get it? Somebody comment PPEE down in the bottom. We'll understand. Everyone's going to understand. Everyone's going to watch this video. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just comment it right now. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's why it's important. I like the 5-row boxes. I typically, right now I have one 5-row box. It's my largest one. It has all my Pokemon in it. And honestly, I've got a lot of work to do with my Pokemon inventory because that was kind of my first experience with running and managing an inventory. It works the way I have it. It's really just the beginning stages of what I've evolved into. And I haven't gone back to really fully, rearrange, structure that in a more digestible way. Right now, there's random sets put places, there's cards from sets put in different places and things like that. And so really I just need to go through it, reorganize, readjust so that I can start adding cards back to my Pokemon inventory. Right now, it's just all locked up in this brain of mine, and I know exactly where everything is whenever I get orders. However, my other 3 boxes are all Magic the Gathering. I've really pushed into Magic the Gathering, selling a lot of singles there, and it's been absolutely amazing. I really like my process here. I just went through and sold hundreds of orders. I'm still selling orders actually, of Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy Commander decks. And I did this big push. I actually released some videos about it where I was really trying to churn through that inventory semi-quickly. So all I did there is I lowered my floor price by 2 pennies and I listed cards at 99% of market, right? So literally 1% off of market, slightly lowered my my floor price, and boom, sales just flooded in. It was a crazy couple weeks. And it's been awesome. I've really thinned down, like my Final Fantasy Commander was multiple rows within the 5-row box. Now it's less than 1 row, and that's a success for me. That was really great, a really great experience of just churning through some product, turning over that product into revenue so that I could reinvest it somewhere else. And that's exactly what I've done. I've actually got probably, I don't know, several thousand cards of Outlaws of Thunder Junction ready to be listed and added to my inventory. Super excited about that. I may even get to that after this video. So number 1 is the kind of work you got to put in to make sure your inventory is good to go. Number 2 is to have some sort of structure. And in this last part of number 2, I want to talk about how important it is to make sure that your live inventory is separate from all of your excess bulk and cards and inventory. Because especially if you're in the bulk business, a lot of times you have, like, let's say 5,000 to 10,000 cards, maybe 20,000 cards listed, but you've got a backlog of like 50 to 60,000 cards, and it's so essential to keep those things separate and to make sure that there's no cross-mingling, cross-contamination there, so to speak. to make sure everything can be easily found and you're not accidentally selling or pulling cards that aren't in your inventory. Because if you start doing that, it's going to get chaotic, guys. It's going to get so chaotic. So really try your hardest to keep things organized. Find a process, work on a process that works best for you, iterate on it, change, adapt, evolve. Go from Charmander to Charmeleon to Charizard in your inventory management process, okay? And then the last part of this video is going to be just how does it pay off? What is the purpose of having an organized inventory? You may be watching this and saying like, that sounds like so much work. Why can't I just grab like an ETB, throw some cards in it, and then as people order, I can sift through that? Well, you can do that. Like literally, if you're the business owner, right? You can do whatever process you want. If you've made it this far into the video and you're like, I just don't really vibe with this guy and I think he's full of it and I don't really want to do what he's saying, I totally respect that. That's totally fine. Hit that dislike button down below. You don't have to subscribe. I just appreciate you being here for this long. But listen, if you can keep things organized, if you can put in that work on the front end to get your inventory organized and ready to go, it pays off so much as you're pulling orders and as you're actually making sales and generating revenue. So yes, it does take time for me to go through Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and I do something crazy, y'all. Actually on my stream people were kind of judging me, but so this is Outlaws of Thunder Junction breaking news. Let's see if I can get that to focus. So I actually go through and I actually alphabetize them and I individually sleeve copies of cards into different penny sleeves. And what I found is that actually helps me as I'm flipping through the cards in my 5-row binder. I can just kind of grab this top part of the penny sleeve and very quickly kind of thumb through all the cards, so to speak, and get to the cards that I really need to get to. And keeping the penny sleeves help me think that the cards are a little bit more protected. I don't think that they're really needed, and maybe eventually I'll move away from that. But I want to show you, I go through the work of penny sleeving cards like that. You don't have to do that, right? For me, it works out. I like the process so far, but that doesn't mean like 6 months from now that I might have evolved past that point and maybe running my inventory totally differently. But what I do know is when I go to pull orders, I feel so confident whenever I go to find those cards. I know exactly where they're at. I know I don't have to be worried about selling cards I don't have in my inventory. And I know that, the whole, prepping the order, like getting the cards ready, actually prepping the order, getting them ready in their envelopes and shipping them out, super streamlined. I can do I think I really buckled down and did it. I did like 30 to 40 orders in less than an hour, really like closer to 30 minutes, maybe a little bit over. So almost averaging more than one order per minute whenever I'm really buckled down and really focused. That's exactly where I need to be, because there's some days, some weeks where the orders are just so, like the order volume is so high with these singles I'm selling that I've got to stay on top of it and I've got to keep it going. So anyways, I hope this video was encouraging to you. I hope that you learned a couple things. Maybe this video made you think about the way you run your inventory, gave you some ideas. You got to see behind the scenes for my inventory that's kind of over here to my left right now. And yeah, I hope this encourages you. Let me know your thoughts down below. Where do you disagree with me? Where do you agree? Maybe you have some like magical approach to inventory that you want to share down below. I'd love to learn. Anyways, guys, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.